Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay? Give everybody a chance to hop on here. Is everybody having a good Monday so far? Just hit me up in the chat. Make sure everybody's awake, got your coffee, getting ready to rock and roll. Who's out there? Who's out there? So I'm using this webcam that I do a lot of my video production with, and it's kind of freaking me out because if I look down at my computer when I'm looking at stuff I want to show you guys that I need to show you, I'm not looking at you in the camera. So that's a little weird. I have to change that for day 2. But let's see. There we go. Oh, thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Nicole, how are you? Look at all these beautiful faces. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I am so excited. So we're gonna take this step by step here. We'll give like maybe 1 more minute for people to come on. Say hello in the comments, guys. If you're seeing me okay, are you hearing me okay? Just let me know that everything is 5 by 5, and we will go from there. So here's what's weird is I'm a little delayed on Facebook. So I'm gonna be switching back and forth between the Zoom and Facebook. I need to go to the Zoom to share my screen with you to do these tutorials. So you know what? There's a way around the system. I forgot I did this last time. I am going to have Facebook on my phone so I can see your comments. This is so we can communicate, so we can be communicating and stuff. Okay, so let's get started here, guys. Many of you know who I am. Many of you don't know who I am. So I just want to do a quick hello, Slava. I feel like you might be in a different country, and I'm impressed. Either that or you've got a great name. That's a rock and roll name. So my name is Johnny Dwinell. I own Daredevil Production. I'm also a co-host of the Climb Show Music Business Podcast. We've been doing that for about 6 years. That's been on several different platforms, including Disc Makers, which is one of the top 5 largest disc manufacturers in the country out of New Jersey. We're still on there, by the way, if you go to their resources section. And also American Songwriter Magazine, if any of you are interested in that podcast, by the way. My co-host is a hit songwriter, and it's a nice mix between the creativity and the business of songwriting and also
just trying to reframe everybody's brain and get them asking the right questions about the new music business to succeed on this new digital platform. Okay. And Facebook ads, huge part of it. So prior to that, I was an artist. So I started out as an artist. I was on tour roughly a year out of high school, and I had a band called Kid Gypsy. I will show you what that looks like here real quick. So this is a hoot hair band. So it's frontman in a hair band, guys. Like totally crazy. Let's see here. All right, so check this out here. This is it right here. This is Kid Gypsy. It's a little blurry, but that was the band. The Allman Brothers brought my band from Wisconsin down to Florida, and we worked real hard. We were getting doing really well. We worked our way up to Warner Brothers and Rob Cavallo, and we're just a little too young by the time we as young as we were by the time we got our act together and we're really functioning as a professional band. They sort of just ended the genre. So I went into business, and that whole journey is kind of what led me here to this. I'm just going to go through it real quick. So I came back. I moved to Nashville. I was going to be a songwriter. I think there's a culture shock between being the front man in a 3-ring circus on the road of the hairband and doing like the sort of mellow songwriting thing. I guess it just wasn't what I thought it was. And I got the opportunity to go into business out in Los Angeles, and I did that. So strangely enough, I moved to LA, but not for music. I was trying to get out of the music industry at that point. We were just doing so good with the band, and then they just stopped the genre. So it was a little weird. That Nirvana record just kind of blew everything apart. And so I move out to LA. I get into the electronics industry. I'm not going to bore you with that, but I did get a front row seat. And this is hugely important about my journey with you guys. I got a front row seat on what happened to the electronics industry, $1 trillion industry, in the wake of the invention of the internet. And I watched many things change. And I mean, we had this product that I was working with. I was in all the top engineering facilities for, JPL, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, the Department of Defense, Naval Air Warfare Center, Raytheon, Hughes Aerospace, blah, 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 all of it. And the way everything changed, and what Michael Dell did when he adapted first and completely changed the way we did business. A lot of you don't realize that everything was just done through distribution before, because that's what we always did. That's what our grandfathers did. That's what we're going to do now. And lo and behold, the Michael Dell's like, we got this internet thing. I'm still going to sell my junky stuff through distribution, but if you want the good stuff, you got to come to me direct. And that changed everything. 15 years later, we buy all our products direct from the manufacturer now, for the most part. Multi-$100 million parts distribution companies evaporated because they weren't needed anymore. The reason this is important to you is because that was back in the 90s, man. That was back in like the late 90s that I'm telling you about all this stuff. And literally just a few short years ago, less than 5 years ago, the music industry had to come face to face and deal with the disruption of the internet. And so it's this unique opportunity that all artists have, and thousands of artists are figuring out, man, I don't need anybody's permission. I don't need a label. I can do this for myself. Yes, it's more work. Yes, I have to do it myself. I have to be a business person too. You have to be a marketer too, but you can do it. And yes, there's a lot of crappy things. Spotify pays like crap. I get it. But despite that, just this year, we added like 3,300 new indie artists who are making at least $50,000 a year just in streaming, just from Spotify, as crappy as they pay. Okay. Which means, I mean, Spotify's got 75% of the market share. So it means they're easily making 75 grand on just streaming. And that's going to change. The free market's at work. It's going to change, believe me. But for right now, point is, they're getting out there. They're getting themselves and their art in front of new eyeballs, and they're being seen, and they're being seen repetitively. And that's why Facebook ads so freaking important. And it's not that difficult to use. Okay. So I saw that happen. And then I ended up going into the financial industry. And that's where I learned a very valuable lesson about honoring the platform. Okay. So I was in selling mortgages essentially. And remember I told you I was trying to get out of the music industry. Well, what that looked like was one day I woke up and I owned a house in California, and I had spent an insane amount of discretionary income on a home recording studio with a live tracking room that sort of doubled as my living room. But I mean, mics, the whole thing is, it wasn't $1 million room, but it sounded awesome, man. Hard, like oak floors, cove ceiling, it was sick. And I was in 2 bands. So it's like, I never found music. Music kind of found me. Music called me from the get-go. And I say that because a friend of mine, I was working for this huge company called AmeriQuest, making 150, 200 calls a day to try to get 3 applications. And a buddy of mine said, man, you got that recording studio in your house. You should use that and get a radio show. And I just, I'm thinking big time. I'm like, dude, I don't know anything about the radio industry. I don't have an agent. I don't know anything about talent, like blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, man, you got it all wrong, bro. Like on the weekends on radio, FM and AM radio, when you hear those shows that, it could be about anything, pets, hobbies, cars, mechanics, health and wellness, vitamins, financial investing, mortgages, all this kind of stuff, religion, they're paid shows. Like they're paid advertisements, and you can do the show in your studio, upload it to the satellite link, and they can broadcast it. I'm like, oh, so I get into content marketing there. And the thing was, we found this one station that I took on a partner because I knew it was going to be expensive. I knew it was going to be a risk. And if I screwed the pooch, I wanted to only be responsible for half of the downside. So I took on a partner. We found the least expensive station we could find. It was this AM station out of Orange County. And we went to work. Now, the minimum requirement was like, it was essentially a $14,000 commitment. I didn't have to pay that up front. We got to pay month by month, but we had to pay for we had to guarantee 6 months of the show. So if this thing didn't work, this was going to freak me out. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money. So we put the show together. We'd upload the satellite link. First weekend, we're sitting there with pens and paper, ready to take the phone call, start taking applications, and no phone calls. Second weekend, no phone calls. Third weekend, nothing. 0 phone calls. Okay. So believe me, this is germane to what we're talking about today. Okay. Just follow me. So I called the station manager, and God bless this lady. She was smarter than me. And she knew that my phone wasn't ringing. She knew exactly why my phone wasn't ringing. And she also knew, kind of like with my type A personality, that I was going to be needing to feel enough pain to reach out to her before I was going to receive the information that I needed to receive to take action on and fix my problem. So I called her up, and the conversation was like, Johnny, you're calling me because your phone's not ringing. I'm like, yes. And she's like, are you prepared to do everything I tell you to do as long as I promise you I can make that phone ring? And I was like, I will do anything. I mean, I'll put on a bozo outfit, a tutu. What do you need? Let me know, And she's like, well, first of all, I want to tell you that your content is awesome. She said, people are listening. We've been getting phone calls. We've been getting feedback from it. Everybody loves what you're saying. I said, hey, thank you for that, but I respectfully disagree. Nobody's freaking calling, and that's a problem. She said, no, your content's great. The problem is you're not honoring the platform. And I said, what does that mean? And she's like, well, she said, you got a half hour time every week we put 5 minutes of commercials in there. You're responsible for 25 minutes of content. I said, yes. She said, and you put together this great show. You've got a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's a big arc. You put a nice big bow on your point at the end. You give your phone number and you bring it on home. I'm like, yes. She said, that's how people consume sitcoms on television. I said, yes. And she said, that's not how people consume AM radio on Saturday. You need to think about the platform. And I was like, oh, wow. Wow. Okay. She goes, yeah, they're running around doing errands, taking their kids to soccer practice, getting their hair done, going to Home Depot. They're catching bits and pieces of it. So you need to make 2 tweaks. Number one, I'm going to make this easy on you. Instead of doing one 25-minute show, do 5 5-minute shows. And you can do the same show, Johnny. In fact, the repetition is really important in that, right? You guys might be starting to connect some dots here where I'm going with this, okay? And she said, just change the metaphors, on the way through for people who listen through. I said, okay. And she said, the second thing is that every 2 minutes, you need to give your phone number. Every 2 minutes without fail. I don't care if you're talking to the president of the United States, interrupt him and give out your phone number. I said, okay. So we did that for the 4th show. We got 5 phone calls. 2 of those calls turned into loans. And the revenue we made from those loans paid for that whole commitment that I told you about. So literally in 3 months after that, I'm on 5 stations in 3 markets, spending $15,000 a month on advertising. And I went from making 150 to 200 calls a day to get 3 applications to getting 150 or 75 to 100 applications. And they were calling me. Okay. Because I honored the platform. This is the big issue with digital. Okay. Everybody is they're not honoring the digital platform. This is one of the big vacuums that I see in the music industry. And they want to pretend that this walks and talks like a broadcast device, because the people at the top in the music industry, it does. Because if you're a big brand name artist, if you're a Tim McGraw, if you're a Jay-Z, if you're Pearl Jam, you've got 1 million followers, you got millions of fans that were built on broadcast platforms, on radio, on MTV. And then we come up with social media, and now they all flood over there. So it kind of works the same way. You know what labels haven't done to this day is break an artist on digital. That's going to be your job. Facebook ads is how you're going to do it. So I just want to, set the tone with that. But this is what brought me in. So I'm doing really well in the financial industry. And then the meltdown happened. I lost everything. It was a blessing. Don't feel bad for me. I realized that it was really super fun growing my company, doing better this month than we did last month. And, all that stuff and building my team, really, really super exciting. I couldn't stand mortgage consumers. Hated the gig. I mean, it was just horrible. It just was not for me. So I ended up losing everything. A buddy of mine from Nashville called and said, "Hey, Johnny, when you come back, we'll produce some records," So moved back to Nashville. And that was, I was like, I just got divorced or separated at that point. I'm like, I just got through telling you my wife moved out of the house. He's like, look, dude, I'm just asking questions over here. I mean, what do you need to be in LA for anymore? And I was like, ugh. And literally I couldn't sleep for like 72 hours. He was right. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm like, I'm going back to the music industry because this is absolute chaos. That was me trying to adult. And I found out that was chaos. I'm like, well, life is chaos. So I might as well enjoy it doing something that I love to do, which is working in the music industry, producing records, helping artists. And now we've kind of finding a foothold in architecting some new marketing and some new methods to get these important artists heard. When I came back to Nashville, I kind of partnered up in a recording studio. And so my partner was on 70 million records. So we charged fees for our recording. Believe me, we weren't the most expensive by far, but we weren't the cheapest either. And I would see artists come in and spend like their whole budget on the record. And I was just like, man. And so the way I kind of got into this whole thing to start with, guys, was just pragmatism. Like, hey, if we can help these artists like know a little bit about marketing, maybe they can sell some more records, and that'll be enough for them to come back and do another record. And then we can up our sales and up our business in the studio. And then the more I dug into this, the more I realized, like, this is insane. Like the whole music industry is so far behind the curve because the marketing pipeline, which was radio, was insulated. It was perfectly protected for decades after the internet was invented. I mean, think about it. There's only two choices to listen to music. It was listen to what you bought or listen to the radio. It wasn't until 2007 that this came out. I mean, we had a pricing ping with Napster in 1999. That was just a pricing ping. It had nothing to do with marketing. Okay, that got fixed with iTunes, thank goodness. But this doesn't come out until 2007, the iPhone. Spotify doesn't come out until 2009. It doesn't come to America until 2011. And it takes about 6 years for it to really work its way into the lexicon of public interest. And that was right when, and of course, who was fighting it the whole time? The record labels. I'm not slamming the record labels. It's what they do. That's the reality. And I don't know if you guys can see me here, but that's when they had to start dealing with the internet. So they're so far behind. Okay. And that's why I want to do this, because this is the number one tool. Facebook ads, the number one tool you're going to use to promote yourself. And I just think about how radio worked when radio worked. It's not working anymore. All right, let's just I think that's why you're here. I think everybody gets that. I mean, it's just so astounding to think that for decades, for a century, you could be an unknown artist, you get a record deal, you get on the radio, you become a popular, well-known artist. And now you have to be a popular, well-known artist to get on the radio. I mean, what? So we need to attack this. I want you guys to embrace this. All right. And there's sort of two levels. We're just going to go through level one during this challenge. I just want to familiarize you with this tool. I'm going to help you set this up from day one. And by the end of this challenge by Friday, you're going to be able to launch a campaign. Okay. The second level is just about like, what are you going to launch and what's the strategy? And, that's about honoring the digital platform. There's things that change, there's things that twist around, but as long as you understand how the fact that digital is one-to-one, it's not one-to-many, broadcast is one-to-many. And whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not, that is the crowd influences the way that we think and the way that we behave. Now, a lot of you are like, Johnny, I'm a free thinker. I'm my own woman. I'm my own man. No, sir. I do my own thing. Well, how about this? I'll give you a really good sort of benign example of this. The slow burn standing ovation. And you're in the audience, right? Maybe it's at church. Maybe it's at a performance. Everybody starts clapping. All of a sudden, people start standing up. And you're like, oh, that was a great performance. And a couple more people stand up. You're like, oh. Okay, now, whether you like it or not, you're having to deal with that information. You're like, okay, all right. And then pretty soon, if enough people stand up, now there's pressure on you inside. You're like, okay, I want to make a statement. I like this performance. Was it that good? Do I feel like I want to stand up? And you go through that thought process, whether you stand up or you don't, and you're forced to reckon with that, okay? Digital's one-to-one. There is no crowd to influence you. So it's a different animal. And, that's some 2.0 stuff, but I just want to kind of plant that seed. So let's get into Facebook. What I did, guys, I'm going to share again here, is I started a brand new page so that I can show you. Hey, Troy, how are you, buddy? Good to see you, man. So that I can just kind of go right from the beginning. Now, some of you already have business managers set up. some of you have flirted with Facebook advertising through boosting. Okay. Which means that you have automatically set up an ads account. It doesn't mean that it's going to be connected to your ads platform. The Facebook ads platform is more pro, man. I'm trying to think of a good example of this, but it's, it's the difference between like, if you're familiar with GarageBand and Mac versus like Pro Tools, you know what I mean? Boosting on Facebook is a gateway drug to Facebook ads. All right. If you've been boosting, first of all, I commend you because you're saying, okay, I've got to promote myself, right? And just a quick sidestep, just to circle back around, one of the issues I was having when I was in that studio with artists that were spending all their money on making the record, on us to produce the record, which is, I was grateful for that, of course. But I said, what's the marketing plan for this? And like, well, we're going to put it up on iTunes and, see what happens. Put up on Spotify, see what happens. There's no foot traffic on digital. And you have to remember when you're putting together your promotion campaigns that you have the curse of knowledge. Okay. You're a musician. The only reason that you have chosen this crazy path to go down, there's far easier paths, let's be honest, is because your relationship with music is profound. You see it three-dimensionally. Okay. But you are not a music consumer. Even though you are a music consumer, you don't think like a music consumer. You can listen to something once and be lost in the mix, and you listen to the kick drum and, oh, that P bass has got some hair on it. And maybe you're like, that's Michael Rhodes playing the P bass because you've got sophisticated taste. But music consumers aren't like that. So you can't think like you when you're thinking about promo campaigns. You have to think like a music consumer. Okay. And so that, that repetition matters, right? And to get the repetition, to bring my point back around, was this. It doesn't matter how big your budget is, but with any record label, guys, for as long as they've had record deals out there, and as long as they've had record companies from, early in the century till now, you get a record deal. I don't care how big or how small the deal is. It's just a percentage. You're going to get 5% of the budget to make the record. And you're going to get 95% to promote it. Now that's capital resources, that's money, but I'm also getting 95% of the HR, right? The human resources, the creative energy, the work, the time, the blood, sweat, and tears, 95% promotion. Okay. It doesn't matter how good your art is if nobody hears it. And that really is just a simple fact. So, and I'll give you a quick point to prove it, like beyond a reasonable doubt. Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, one of my favorite examples. Though to this day, still the largest selling debut record in the history of the record business. Dropped in 1987, and most people don't know this, but it was a stiff. It was a stiff. It didn't sell. The record label was busting their butts trying to. Now, this is a mature hair band market now at this point, okay? There was no room on radio. They couldn't get Guns N' Roses on radio, or at least not on enough stations, okay? They weren't on MTV for a year. And depending on who you talked to in the camp, it was a day or a week before they were about to be dropped from the label. Tom Zutaut goes to David Geffen. Tom Zutaut, the A&R guy, goes to David Geffen and says, hey, man, flex your music mogul muscle and get MTV, call in a favor, get them to play this video. I believe in this band. Get them to play this video. So Geffen does that, and they spin it at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, which is late Saturday night at a time in 1988 when it's a full year after the album was released, when there's probably still millions of people that were, partying their butts off and awake, and they saw it and they lit up the phones. Who is this? MTV is like, oh, well, everybody likes it. That's we'll put it into rotation. So as soon as MTV puts it into rotation, all the radio stations follow suit. Now everybody's hearing the art, and the rest is history. Okay, so Facebook ads is what you need to do. If you're boosting after this week, stop boosting. Okay, the only reason I'm saying that is because you're targeting, and your ability to use the data that you've paid for through boosting is this compared to Facebook ads, which is this. Okay, like I don't know if you see that. It's crazy. So all right, let's get started. What I'm going to do, so some of you are at different steps along the way of setting up your business manager accounts. But every time I get a new artist in, even if they've done like straight up Facebook ads, not boosting, but ads, there's still holes in this process. So pay attention to this and just make sure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. Okay. So let's go to my here we go, challenge example page. So go, you're going to go to your page, and everybody automatically gets a Meta Business Suite. Okay. What we're going to do is go into the Business Manager account, which is different than the Business Suite. We're going to create an ads account, and then we're going to connect everything. And we're going to get, if you have a domain, we're going to get that verified. I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're just going to make sure everything's tight in there, because I'm doing this because I've had countless clients, artists who's they get shut down by Facebook because they miss one of these steps, and Facebook doesn't know who you are. Their default is just going to assume that you're a terrorist. Okay. So you want to just make sure you're compliant so that you can do what you want to do, because this is an amazingly powerful tool. Okay. So how do we find this? One more thing, guys, get used to this. Facebook moves the cheese every other week, every other day. Okay. So it's important that you know what you're looking for. If you know what you're looking for, you're going to find it. But it's, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because they move it like all the time. So just get used to that and deal with it. There's nothing else. It's the only thing I can tell you. Okay. All right. So we want to get to the business manager. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down. So by the way, so this ad center here is going to be different. This is where the boosting is going to be. We want to go to the ads manager. All right. And the way that we're going to find that is business. Let's go into publishing tools. You're going to click here. And then this brings you into the back end dashboard on the Meta Business Suite. Okay, now from here, we can see ads, and we can click on all tools. And you see that opens up this whole thing here. Now, this is where we're going to get into that. So I clicked on to publishing tools. That got me into the Meta Suite on the back end. I'm going to click on all tools here, and I'm going to get into the business manager. And any one of these buttons are going to be fine, but let's click ads manager. Different than ads. See the difference? That's boosting. This is your boy right here. This is your baby. Okay. So once we click on ads manager, we're not going to go there right away. We're just going to use this to get into the business manager dashboard. And there's going to be a hamburger menu up here in the upper left-hand corner. All right. As soon as it's through loading with Zoom, everything takes a little bit longer. So wait for it. And then I need to pull up the Facebook group here so I can see what you guys are saying. If you've got questions and stuff too, feel free to put them in there. My groups as challenged. There we go. All right. All right. Okay, so you can see right up here, left-hand corner is the hamburger menu. It's the 3 lines. I call it the hamburger menu because it kind of looks like a hamburger. So click on that, and we want to go to business settings. Business settings. So let's click on that. Okay. So now here's where it's going to prompt you to create a business manager. Go ahead and click yes and create that. I'm going to use the I've reached my limit of Facebook business accounts. Look at that. Oh, look at that. All right. Let's go to Daredevil. So you can see what it looks like. So step 1 is the people. So you're going to add yourself, if you're not already added in, as a person. Just put your email address that you have with your personal Facebook account in there. This is also where you will add other people. If there's other people that are going to have this access, maybe somebody else in your band or your group, or maybe it's a business partner, or this is where, if you ever use a service, this is how they're going to connect. You know, if you get to the point where, and this is my hope for you, where you're maxed out, man, you know, like you're so freaking busy that you can do this and you can crush this on your own, but you just don't have time because you're too busy playing and being an artist and stuff, then that's when you're going to bring somebody else on your team. This is how you're going to put this together. You don't need to worry about partners. Okay. Don't sweat that. But you're going to add your name here, and then assigned assets is right here. So you want to add assets, and this is where you're going to add your pages. Okay. So some people are on the new pages experience. Some people are on classic pages, and you can go and you can click. So I would click Daredevil Production. All right. And then we haven't made the ad account yet. So we're going to go back and add that. Instagram accounts. If you haven't added that, go ahead and add that. You just click on that. So you see these are now clicked. They're selected. And then you want to go all the way over to the right-hand side here. And you want all the stuff. Okay. So. And then just click Facebook access, full control. You guys see that? It's on the pages experience, full control, click save changes. And you should see everything set up over here. All right. We're going to go back and add more stuff here as we add this in throughout the week. But we're going to build this up. Okay. So now I want you to go down to pages and click on that. And we should see your page right here. And we want to make sure that that is connected to your name right here. And for that matter, anybody else who may have access to your page, who's using your page. And how do you do that? You can search by their ID, or you put in their name, or you can put in their email address that's attached to their Facebook profile. Okay. So you want to add that in. Once we get that added in, now we're going to add in the ad account. We're going to create an ad account. Okay. So now some of you may have, if you've boosted, Facebook kind of automatically creates this other ad account. I don't deal with boosting, so I can't tell you where that is or how to connect it. It really doesn't matter. It's not any kind of a liability for you or vulnerability. Just start this new account, and then we're going to add in the payment method. Okay. So click on add accounts. You're going to, you can click add, and you're going to create right here, create new ad account. Okay. And you're going to just create a name for it. Get your time zone right, because this is going to be important when you start running ads. You want to be thinking from where you're centrally located, wherever your HQ is. A lot of you travel often, and you're in all kinds of different time zones, but I think it's the smart thing is to put your time zone in where your headquarters are, because then you're always thinking, like, I mean, for me, I'm in Nashville, I'm in the central time zone. California's, -2 hours, right? New York's +1 hour. London's +7, I think. So it's, I kind of already have that math in my head. So it makes it's a less of an accident looking for a place to happen if you just base it on that. Because if you're doing a run down the East Coast and you're from the West Coast, you're going to default to the right time. You just don't want to be screwing those times up or anything like that. Okay. And then put your currency in there, whatever country you're from. And then, so here, I'll click test, next. And then it says, it's going to be used for your business. Okay. So you click on that, and then you click create. I'm not going to create this because I've already done one, but that's how you do that. Now it will open this up here, and in your upper right-hand corner is a drop-down menu. It says view payment methods. So you're going to click on that. It's going to open up a new tab. Nicole from Trinidad. Wow. And Tobago, did I pronounce that right? Tobago? We're glad you're here, Nicole. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. A decision tree, Robert? Show me what that is. All right. So now, this is where you're going to add in your payment method, whichever way that you want to do that. Okay. So know that the way that Facebook bills is, because this can get confusing, especially if you're used to doing any kind of promotion or spending any kind of money on promotion on any kind of broadcast platform, billboards, radio commercials, TV commercials, newspapers, blah, blah, blah. So with those kinds of services, you have to pay up front. All right. It's the same price you pay up front. With digital, you're going to pay after the ads are running. Okay. So you pay, you eat what you kill, essentially. Facebook will charge you two ways. First of all, everybody's account gets charged every month. Okay. So I feel like they vacillate on this or whatever. You can read about it on how the billing works. I feel like it's at the end of every month, but then I have some where I've opened up the account for clients like mid-month. And so it's a 30-day billing cycle. So whatever that is, every 30 days, if there's 5 cents or $500 on the account, they're going to run the card. Okay. The other is there's a payment threshold. So the max payment threshold you can get to is $900, but Facebook's always going to start you out small. So it's probably going to be like every $10 to $25, they're going to run your card until you do it enough times. It doesn't take that long, but until you do it enough times and they're able to, you build up essentially a trust with them, a relationship with them. And so then they'll let you change how often the card is run. Okay. So that's just it's the same amount of money. It's just kind of up to what you feel. I mean, I've got clients that are spending $10,000-$15,000 or more a month on ads. And if their card was getting run like every $25, it would be like, it would be killing trees for that. It's just not necessary, so we just max them out at 900, and there's just fewer charges, fewer line items on the bill. It makes it less complicated. Okay. But add in your payment there. And then we're going to X out of that and go back to our ad accounts. The next thing that you want to do is now we have to, again, attach you to your ad account. Okay. So you're going to go to people and you're going to click add people. And you know what? This just occurred to me too. Somebody said a decision tree. The decision tree is going to be the recording. Robert, it's going to be the recording. So this will be available for, in the Facebook group for 24 hours. And you can kind of go and just look over everything and make sure you're all set up. And this will be your homework for today. Every day we're going to have some homework. When we're done by tomorrow's challenge, go away, husband. By tomorrow's challenge, we're going to, I want you guys to have all this set up. Okay. So make sure you add you to your thing. So you're just going to go add people. And you should be able to find yourself right there. You're going to click your name and then click manage ad account. And you're going to hit that and you're going to click assign. Okay. Anybody got any questions on that? Go ahead and put them in the comments section. And let's move down the line here. And we want to get to Instagram accounts. Lie down. Sorry, guys, my dog. Lie down. Go lie down. Go lie down. Here's where you want to add your Instagram account if you have one. Once again, you're going to add the account. You're going to click on add right here. All right. And scroll down. It's going to connect your Instagram account. You're going to have to log into it and connect that. And then once again, you're going to need to add you to the Instagram account. Okay. And then also do the same for the WhatsApp account. I don't have a WhatsApp account, so it's not there. But there's one extra step here that now that we've connected the Instagram account and we've connected your WhatsApp account and we've created an ad account, now we want to go back and add the ad account as an asset to all of these platforms. Okay. So you're going to click on pages. You've got your page here. You've got your name here. Now you're going to click on add accounts. And you see here, we got the three tabs. Your name should be attached to the ad account. There's partners and there's connected assets. Click on connected assets. And hold on one second, guys. Sorry, she's not feeling too well. So needed to take care of that before she took care of me. So when you're adding assets, it's not from there, from your Instagram account. So if you go to Instagram account, connect assets, and this is where you're going to add in your business account and your ad account. Okay. So you'll see them right here. Everybody see that? So if you're on your Instagram account, connected assets, click add assets right here. And you're going to find this. You click add, and Bob's your uncle. You'll see it right there. And they moved the cheese. This used to be right here too for the page, but that's okay. So do that for your WhatsApp account as well. And then next, we're going to go down to brand safety. And we're going to click on domains. Okay. So hey, Troy asked if you can have these videos available longer than 24 hours. Yes. What I'm going to do is they're going to be up in the Facebook group for 24 hours. And then they're going to go behind a membership thing where you guys can have lifetime access to them. It's for $17.97. You guys can access that as much as you want to with all the homework assignments that are spelled out. I will put a link up here shortly for anybody who wants to do that. You're more than welcome to. Okay. So here is, now we're going to click on brand safety, then go to domains. This is where you're going to add your domain. Okay. If you don't have a domain, don't worry about it. If you don't have a website, don't worry about it. Okay. But if you do, we need to go through how to add that website and then how to make this happen right here. We need that website to be verified. Okay. So add your domain and click add your assets there, right? So your Facebook page to your domain, and you don't need to worry about the domain access there. In order to get it verified, guys, what you're going to have to do is let's see here. So when you type in your domain, just like I did, this is going to show not verified. So there's 3 ways to do this. By far, the easiest way for me was to add a TXT code into your DNS, which I'm going to show you how to do right now. It's relatively simple. Okay. So there, if you notice, there's a drop down menu here. So this is where it gets a little confusing, but you got your new domain added. You come over here and we've got 3 options. The option that we want is this third one here, DNS TXT. Now, in order to do this, guys, you're going to have to know where your domain is hosted. Now, for some of you, your website can be hosted here and your domain can be hosted here. All right. And we're not concerned about the website. We're concerned about the domain. Okay. So what you're going to do is this. My domains are hosted at GoDaddy. So I'm just going to kind of show you how to make this happen real quick. It seems complicated, guys, but it's like super, super, super easy. Oops. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, guys. There we go. All right. So what you're going to do is look for the DNS records on your domain. Okay. So if I go down to, I just find the DNS records here. Some of them, you can find these on Bandzoogle, Bandcamp. You just have to, by the way, on this stuff, guys, Google and YouTube is your friend. Okay. If you've got some weird place where your domain is hosted, just simply go to YouTube and be like, hey, how do I find out where the DNS records are on Bandzoogle? And trust me, somebody's going to have like a 2-minute video that's going to show you where to find it. And it's your questions answered right away. It's super, super easy. Okay. So you're just going to go scroll all the way down to your DNS records here. And now we've found our DNS records. So we're going to go back to Facebook. Okay. And we are going to we are going to make sure, again, you've got the DNS TXT record here in your drop-down menu. And then right here, this is the code. So you just click on that code, okay? And you're going to go back to your domain record. You're going to click add. Okay, it's going to say what kind of type record do you want? You want a TXT record. Okay, and then I'm just going to show you what it looks like because mine's already in here. I'm not going to add another one, obviously, but here we go. So you're going to put in, you're going to click on the add. The value is where you're going to drop that code in that you just copied. And right here, you're going to put an @ sign. Okay, this can stay default on TNT, then just or on the TTL, time to launch, and then just add it. Very simple, right? So TXT, copy the code from Facebook, which is right here. If you just click on it, it'll actually copy it to your clipboard. And then you paste that in the value and you put the @ sign, and this is what that's going to look like. And then you click add. Okay. And once you click add, you're going to go back to where I lost it. You're going to go back to your Facebook here and just click verify domain. It may take, usually this happens pretty quick, guys, but it may take 24 hours or more to propagate through the server, depending on where you're at. So don't trip if it doesn't happen right away. But if you don't have that in like 2 days, if it's not verified, then you just need to go back and revisit the sequence and make sure that you did it right. Okay, everybody clear on that? It's probably the most technical thing I think you're going to do today. Okay. All right. Now we got our domain verified. Next thing we want to do is come all the way down here to business info. Okay. And this is where you're going to fill in all your information. Okay. Whatever your business is, whatever your artist name is. And you can put in two-factor authentication if you want to. That's up to you. And just add in all this info, add in your stuff. And then now I've verified my ID. I do. I work for different corporations too for their ads. It may not require you to verify your business ID. If it does, that's great. I mean, go ahead and if you just like click on it, it'll tell you, you know, what to add. You can add in. Usually though, if your domain's verified as an artist, you're not going to have to do this. Okay. But if it allows you to do it, go ahead and do it. So, you know, you just have to, sometimes you just have to upload an ID. If you upload your ID on Facebook, they're very, very adamant about how you do it. So you want to make sure that you take a picture of your ID on a dark surface, and you just want to make sure that you get all 4 corners of the ID in. Okay, because again, like lots of people try to do shady stuff that you could never even imagine because you don't think like that. Okay, but they do it. Just make sure you take a clean, clear picture of your ID, all 4 corners, and that it's not like against a light surface, it's against a dark surface so that the ID sort of pops out, and then upload it. If it doesn't ask you to do that, you don't have to worry about doing it. But for some people, it will. Okay, I don't know how Facebook decides, but I just want you to know that it'll prompt you to go ahead and make all that happen. But this is important for running ads that Facebook knows who you are, essentially. And then you don't run into any problems, okay? And guys, that is everything for today here. We've got domains. Did I miss anything? I think we're good. Who's got questions? Okay, Robert, I'm going too fast. All right. Well, the recording is going to be available as soon as we're done, Robert. Okay. So if I'm moving too fast for anybody, don't worry about it. It's going to be as soon as we're done, it's going to be in the Facebook group. You can go back and refer to it there and make sure that you're all dialed in. If you have scheduling conflicts or whatever, the recordings will be available for longer than 24 hours, but there's a charge for that. Okay. It's $17.97, but figure 24 hours is more than enough time for everybody in every part of the world to be able to access this and just go through these steps and make it happen. So don't worry if we went too fast. You got a whole day to just go back and review it and make sure that all your steps are accurate. And if anybody's got any questions, I'll answer them now. And also, we'll just make sure everybody's caught up by tomorrow. So meanwhile, I just want to show you a couple things on what we do with Facebook ads so you can kind of see what we're building here with you guys and the power that you're going to have. Okay. Is everybody interested in maybe seeing some cool stuff? So right now we're doing, we have a concert promoter that we work with. We've got a number of different shows that we're working with him. So look at that. I just sold 6 more tickets. This is a T.G. Shepherd show with William Golden and the Goldens. And I mean, look at this, y'all. $21,000 in ticket sales. All this is happening with Facebook ads. They're not using any radio whatsoever. Here's 3 more shows or 4 more shows that we're working. Oak Ridge Boys, Paul Thorne, Jeremy McComb. This is a gospel celebration. Tickets are going on. I mean, these are real. This is real money, and that we're moving with Facebook ads and the proper kinds of ads. Okay. So, yeah, man, this tool is, guys, this is crazy. This is going to change everything. And I think everybody needs to have their head around this and just as a working knowledge of this. So your homework today, make sure you get your business set up, your business account set up, your ad account set up, and I'll put all this into the Facebook group. Okay. But I'm going to put it in there. You got plenty of time to look it over, and I'll put the link in for some of you who, I mean, for me, I like to be able to just go back and reference stuff too. So, it's worth the $17.97 to just have lifetime access to it, and you can look at it whenever you want. Okay. But the business account setup, connect your Instagram and your WhatsApp accounts to your business manager account, and also make sure that you are added on your page, that you are added on your ads account, that you are added on your Instagram account, that you are added on your WhatsApp account. And then for your Instagram and WhatsApp accounts, you want to make sure that the asset is added, right? So make sure your Facebook or your ad account is added to those. So once again, this is where you're added, and you want to assign the assets to you. So that'll be all your pages. Your Instagram account should be assigned to you. Your ad account should be assigned to you. And then we're going to get into pixels tomorrow. Okay. Don't worry about those right now. One step at a time. Okay. I just want to make sure everybody can have manageable stuff. And believe me, get this done by tomorrow. You're going to be feeling so good about yourself. Then we're going to do this pixel thing, which is going to be really weird, but it's not that complicated. And we're going to get that installed. It's going to be super cool. And then we're going to get into like the audience creation. Now that our structure, our machine is set up to do what we want it to do. And then we're going to get into like picking audiences, optimizing audiences, and all the weird wizardry that I use to sell out concerts, that I use to do stuff like Here, I'll show you this. Like I put this in one of the ads, so you may have seen this, but man, it's just super cool. And again, if you got any questions, just go ahead and ask me in the comments, guys, and I'll try to address it. Don't see anything else in here. Okay. So, all right. So check this out. Check it out. Check it out. It's still loading up. So I want to show you. Oh my gosh, everything goes so long with when Zoom is attached. Come on, Facebook, load up, load up, load up. All right, here we go. So I just want to show you a video promotion that we did, which is like really, we're kind of super proud of. And it just like, it proves, guys, that if you think about it this way, and so I'm just going to ramble a little bit here. If you know, we're done with the lesson. If you got to go, you got to go. It's cool. But I just want to share some stuff here because I'm going to prove to you right now that you can create the kind of, sort of miniature microcosms of critical mass just with effective ad strategies using Facebook ads. Okay. And promote yourself. And when it's done right, and also, I mean, you have to be a compelling artist. You have to have competitive product, but it can blow up even in small levels, just like stuff happens on radio. And the cool thing about Facebook ads is you get to decide what you're going to spend. Your budget's your budget. So quick note, you'll hear me say this multiple times throughout the week. This is important. But when I talk about expensive ads versus inexpensive ads, that doesn't mean that expensive ads are bad. Okay. Because if you think about expensive versus inexpensive, that sounds like, expensive means more money. Radio promo is expensive, right? That means it's more money than, say, another kind of promotion. But that's not what it means in digital. Okay. So on the digital platforms, the way that the ad pricing works, it's on an auction-based platform. Okay. So there's two verticals that determine the price. The price varies. And the verticals that determine the price are, number one is consumption. So the best way to think about it is like this. Facebook wants you to have a good experience on their Facebook platform and on their Instagram platform and on their WhatsApp platform. And when you're advertising, you are paying to interrupt somebody's experience with your content. Okay. By the way, same way radio worked, except they didn't have to worry about whether you liked it or not because you didn't have a choice. You either listen to what you owned or you listen to the radio back when radio worked. But nobody ever listened to the radio to discover new artists. We listen to the radio no matter what music you like. We listen to Hear Our Jam. And so while we're waiting to hear our jam, they'd slide in this new artist that you'd never heard of before with their debut single. And that would just get pounded in your head over and over and over again. And then you become, the consumer becomes familiar with it. And then like, oh my gosh, I love this artist. And that's how that would work. But it was interruptive. Okay. It was still interrupting your experience with the music that you love and that you know, and that you're familiar with something brand new, and I always use the example of Reba McEntire and country music in 1994, her 18th studio album. God bless that woman. That she was the queen of country, 18 studio albums from a major label. You are making money for everybody. God bless you. You're everybody's jam. And when they would release the record, they wouldn't drop the record. They released a single to radio. You can't buy the record yet. That go into heavy rotation. They let that cook at number one for a couple months before they would drop the record and they heat up the sales, right? So the DJs would spin it like every hour on the hour, and we would be waiting to hear that new Reba song because we can't get it anywhere else. There's no streaming at this point in 1994. And then they slide in Tim McGraw with his new single. And we don't know who Tim McGraw is. We don't know that name. We don't know that voice. We don't recognize that, but they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And so two things can be true at the same time. Number one, nobody ever listened to the radio to discover new artists. And number two, at the same time, it's true, radio is where we discovered all the new artists, but it was interruptive. So when you are advertising, you're paying to interrupt somebody's experience on Facebook that you've targeted, or Instagram or WhatsApp, to put your content in there. So consumption matters. The way Facebook looks at it is if they're consuming it, it's good content and the right audience, and your cost goes down. Okay. If they're not consuming it, let's say your content's terrible. Let's say you just don't have quality video or audio or whatever, it just is kind of janky. Then if they don't consume it, if they're not watching the video or commenting or liking or sharing or saving or any of those things, then your cost goes up because they feel like it's not great. Now, the other factor in consumption is the audience, right? So one of my favorite things on Facebook is those, I don't know if you guys have seen those tasty videos where they have like that quick 30-second video, but it's a recipe. And it's like, oh, I save those things like crazy because I'm going to eat them. And I do cook some of them. It's awesome. But you can have the world's best hamburger recipe, and the most amazing tasty video to promote that hamburger recipe. But if you put that and target a vegan audience, well, they're not going to consume it. They're just not interested. No matter how good it is, that's not their jam. So they're not going to see it. So therefore, they're not going to consume it. So your cost goes up, right? That's one vertical, consumption. Second vertical is supply and demand. The more supply there is, the more feeds there are, the bigger your audience, the more feeds that need ads, the cost goes down. The smaller your audience, the cost goes up. Now, once again, expensive, inexpensive. Your budget's your budget. If you're going to spend $100 or $1,000 on ads, that doesn't go up or down. You can determine that. The expensive versus inexpensive on digital means how many people are you going to reach for that ad dollar. Okay. So here's a music video that we did, that we promoted. Okay. And I just want to show this to you because this is a this is proof positive that when you have a compelling video and a compelling artist, and even with a little bit of money, you can make some miracles happen. And I'm going to show you something. This artist, just first of all, this was the ad spend. $1,053 is what she spent promoting this video. And here we can see the metrics on this, the data. Okay. What you're looking at, though, what you're defaulting to in your brain is that this is consumption metrics, which it is. You're right about that. But it's not just consumption metrics. These are actual accounts owned by actual people that we can retarget. Let's say these people who watch 95% of the video. To me, 95% is good as 100%. I mean, it's the very end of the video. They've seen the whole thing and they tap out. So 17,000 people watched that video 100% of the way through for $1,000. Okay. So in this situation, the least expensive ads I could get was to go wide on the ad because she only had $1,000 to spend, and also to keep it on platform, right? So ads get more expensive if I'm pushing traffic to YouTube or to Spotify. That's not to say that that's a bad choice, but in this case, it's not the choice that we made. We kept everything on platform. So if I'm pushing to Facebook and Instagram only, that's on platform, I'm going to probably reach 10 times the amount of people for the same $1,000 that she wants to spend. And I just want to expose as many people as I can to her art, to her video. So this is what we did. 17,000 of them watched it 95% of the way through, which is awesome. Now, this is a single that I did. This is like the last single I did. I did it in 2020. I don't do them anymore simply because you really need like a runway. Like this did so well. I'm about to show you how much better it did than even you can imagine, but there's nothing to follow it. So what good is it? You know, it's like a niche that she scratched. And to Lala, the artist, that's the only itch she wanted to scratch, which is fine. So I'm not saying anything negative about her in any way, but for an artist that's trying to get momentum to move forward, you got to keep feeding that beast. You know, you just want to stay out in front of it, and then you'll start to grow. But this campaign, because it lasted about $1,053, only lasted about 3 weeks, because you have to give the, and believe me, you're going to learn more about this later in the week, but you have to give that algorithm like enough traction. It's got to have something to grip on, right? The $1 or $2 a day thing is not enough for the algorithm to do what it needs to do. Okay. So I'm not going to spread this out over 6 months. I'm going to like shrink it down to like 3 weeks and spend that money so we can get the most bang for the buck. Okay. And right off the bat, that's a pretty awesome number, because that, if you divide 1,053 by 17,003, I think that comes out to like 6.2 cents per 100 for 100% view. And we know who viewed it. Like, I don't know that it's John Q. Public from Middle Iowa, but I can certainly retarget him whenever I want to, or her. Okay. Here's the thing. Check this out. So, if I punch in, remember, we didn't send any traffic to YouTube. Okay. But here's the video right here. And look at this, guys, 135,000 views so far. So we exposed people to the video multiple times on the Facebook and the Instagram platforms. They liked it, and then they're not going to remember where they saw it. They just remember that they liked it, and that they know they knew the artist name or the name of the song. So they're going to go find that on their favorite distributor, right? In this case, it was YouTube. So after the campaign ended, which was 3 weeks, we were getting 2,000 video views a month, or I'm sorry, a week on YouTube, and it continues to grow. It's not 2,000 a week anymore, but it continues to grow. It's up to 135,000. Her subscribers were about 230 at the time we started this, and in less than 6 months, she 10x that to 2,300. So it took on a life of its own after the ad stopped, because of the way that we did it, right? And we did it all on Facebook ads. And I mean, what would these numbers look like if she spent 10,000? You see? And so it's, and I know a lot of you are like, okay, where's the return? Where's the return? Where's the return? Well, with something like this, when it takes off, you get a YouTube channel, and 50, 100,000 subscribers, and you're putting out regular content on it, and that regular content is getting, high 6-figure, 7-figure views, then you can make legit money on YouTube. You have to think of yourself as like a network. Okay. What's the difference between the ad, a Budweiser ad on a regular season NFL football game versus a Budweiser ad on the Super Bowl? Why is it so much more expensive? Because of the crowd size. Same is true for online. Like, whomever owns the traffic rules the road. If you own the traffic, then you rule the road. So let me give you an example. You start a brand new YouTube channel, you put one video up, and God bless you, it goes viral, it goes crazy. And let's say it gets 10 million views. God bless you. Okay. So by accident, you're going to make $2,000 to $3,000 per million views. So you got 20, 30 grand by accident. Here's the difference. If you have a YouTube channel with, let's say, 500,000 subscribers and a boatload of videos that have 7 figures on them, and guys, I have done this to like with $0 in promotion, just with the consistency thing on YouTube, with like a 12-year-old who, I mean, she was averaging like 9,000 views per video every single week that she put down with no promotion whatsoever, simply because of consistency. Okay. But if you have 500,000 subscribers, let's say, a healthy amount of subscribers, 300, 500,000 subscribers, and you got a bunch of videos with a couple million on them. Well, now your network has more of an audience, and therefore you get to charge more for advertising. So you become a second tier on YouTube, and you can even work out brand collabs where you can turn that into that same 10 million views. Instead of making 2,000 to 3,000 per million, you can make it 20 or 30,000 per million views. Okay. Why? Because you have consistent traffic. Okay. So this is a cash register you may not even have thought of, but here's a great example. I mean, of why you might spend that money, you know what I mean? To build that up, and knowing that you're going to have regular, consistent content to put out. So anyway, I just wanted to show you a little win there. I thought that was really cool. And by the way, she's got like 16,000 streams of this song on Spotify. You know, again, we drove no traffic there. We just exposed it to people, and they went and found it. So this is what will happen to you once we've completed this whole Facebook Ads challenge. So anybody got any questions before we call it a day? Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. Choices is very convoluted in the app. Well, this is why you get the video, man. Just go back to the video and kind of rewatch everything. Okay. You got too many windows open. I do. And you know what? Like, I straight up, I use all of them, bro. Like all of them. Like it's insane. But that's why I got the bad Mac there. All right, guys. So tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., we're going to work with Pixels. Your homework today is to get your business account tight, get it set up, go back and watch this video. Make sure that you are attached to your page, that you are attached to your Instagram account, that you are attached to your WhatsApp account, and then create a ads account. Make sure that you are attached to the ads account. Make sure that your page is, that your Instagram is, and that your WhatsApp is. Okay. And then make sure that if you have a website, get the website domain verified. Okay. If you don't have a website, don't worry about it. But if you do have one, then some of you are going to be like, oh, I don't know where it's hosted or whatever. Well, let's get going. Find out where it's hosted. Figure it out. Get in there. You saw me. It takes literally 30 seconds to go and do that. And if you even Google, okay, how do I find the DNS records on Bandzoogle or on this platform or that platform, whatever platform you're on, there will be a video there that will show you instantly how to find it. You go and find it. Next thing you know, you're off and running. Okay. But once you get that code installed as a TXT record, you just click verify, boom, you're good to go. And what else? Oh, and then the business info. Make sure you put your business information in there. Okay. When you put your business information in, what shows up on your page is different than what shows up on that dashboard on the back end. So for your business information, put your correct name. I actually I lost an account because I had an artist who had her name that we always called her. She had a different name as an artist, which a lot of artists do, which is fine. She had another page that she kept separate because she had lots of stuff to say politically with a different name. And then a third page that she had with kind of like some suggestive pictures on Facebook that had a fourth name. And then none of those were the name that was on her freaking ID because she didn't like her regular name on her ID. So I didn't even dawn on me when I uploaded the ID to get her. Facebook's like, who is this? And they asked for an ID. And so I gave them an ID and I put up a fifth name and they just shut it all down. You know, it just screwed everything up. So put your real name, whatever's on your ID, that's what goes into the information on your business name. Okay. The address, all that stuff. All right. That's just going to keep things easier. So that way it's only if you have a different artist name, nobody's going to know what's on the back end. You can keep that. Okay. Anybody else got any questions before I sign off? I'm so excited. We got the first day done. Get your homework done. You're welcome, Nicole. Thank you. All right, guys, have a great day. Get your homework done. Tomorrow we're getting into pixels, and I'm gonna blow your mind with pixels, guys. This is like next level stuff. All right. God bless. I'll talk to you soon.